up, y'all? Welcome to the 4th episode of RogueCast. This is so exciting. It is December 15th. We are almost to Christmas, the crazy, crazy holiday season. I have a couple announcements before we get into today's episode, and they are some important ones. So, first off, we have Creator Fest on December 18th, 3 days away. Insane. I'm sure you've seen announcements about it. I've been trying to push it out there. This will be at the PAC Waco. Zach, have you heard of the PAC?
I have.
Have you been there? I don't think I've ever actually been there. Place, yeah. Is it? Okay, so it's going to be at the PAC. It is, get ready for a night built for influencers, filmmakers, podcasters, designers, musicians, writers, and every kind of creative in Central Texas. So this is not just for Wacoans. This can be anyone. It's community, collaboration, live music, and there is a taco bar. That had me. I was sold. And a Sunday bar. Games, mixers, puzzles, all of the above, photo ops, fun surprises. So this is just a chance for you to get to know other podcasters, other creatives in the area, around, network, build connections beyond each other's shows. So highly recommend. I believe it's going to be at 6:30. That's terrible. I don't have the time. Is it 7 or 6:30?
I think it's 6:30.
Okay, we're gonna put the time in the description so you'll be able to see.
Yeah. We're great at a lot of stuff. Maybe time not the best, but yeah.
It'll be there. Be there. It'll be fun. And if you show up early, that's great. That's great. The next announcement is really exciting. It's something I have been working on for a while. And it's with Claire Sanama and her podcast.
This is big.
Yes, it's big. It's big. Final Days on Earth and Justice Pending. She is going to be doing a live tour in 2026. So that means every month she's going to a different city in Texas, all over Texas, not just Central Texas, all over, and doing a live podcast recording. It's going to be a Q&A. It's going to be, you're going to have a book signing with her book, Killer Stories, The Truth Behind True Crime Television. All of the above, you're going to get to meet her, talk with her, learn about true crime. She's going to have, most of the time she'll have a guest host there. It's going to be incredible. And
it's going to be fun.
Zach,
it's going to be a lot of fun. Yeah.
A free t-shirt.
You can't
a free
that.
t-shirt. And they're cool.
They are really cool.
They're cool.
So I know I haven't seen the final, but I've seen like the mock-up and the work on it, and they do look really cool.
They're cool t-shirts.
They are,
like
very much
concert t-shirts. That's what they look like. It's going to be cool. So there'll be more information in this newsletter as well if you guys just scroll down. But this is huge. I'm really excited about it. I'll be at most of them. So y'all have to come. It's going to be fun. It's gonna be, and just to connect with Claire Sanama and podcasters, other people.
Exactly. Yeah, and you know, you're going to have the whole schedule. Maybe you can go multiple times. You can just plan it out because it's gonna be great. It's gonna be fun. Yes,
I think so. I think it'll be really fun. And also, side note, I don't even think you know this.
Okay.
There's gonna be one of them that's gonna have wine. Yeah, it's gonna be like a wine night.
Oh, I'm here for that.
Yeah, like live podcast, true crime, wine,
sit
snacks.
back, drink a little. Oh, I'm absolutely there for that.
Yeah. So you guys, you have to stay on the lookout. There will be more information posted about it, but it is official. It's the first one is in Grapevine, Texas, on January 22nd, 7 p.m., 7 to 9. So
we have that time right.
Yeah, that is right. I know that one.
I'm sorry.
No, that was good. Guys, it'll be great. It'll be great. Okay, so as you all have seen, with me here is Zach Burke. He works at Rogue Media Network. Zach, give us a little intro.
I am a jack of all trades in a way, I guess is the best way to put it. I produce a bunch of different shows, a lot of our sports content, and kind of help with that. I have a show of my own that I do that is very nerdy. Yeah.
What is it?
It's Bros, Foes, and Heroes with another guy who has been a guest on this podcast, and Mike Hamilton.
Oh, he has?
Yep. The two of us have been doing that for about 4 years. We have a lot of fun with that. And that's where I work. I do the show there, but also like do a lot with our social media for not only that show, but also with a lot of the sports clips and stuff like that too.
Yes. So Zach is the go-to guy for any sports-related anything, and he's the king, the master of it all.
Thank you.
No, seriously, I'm saying that because I truly I'm not a sports girl, but Zach is awesome. So Zach and I kind of tag team it. He does all the sports stuff, and then I do any other type of lifestyle daily podcast show.
But because of that, I will add just before you go, we're able to bounce stuff off each other pretty well because of that. Yes.
And there's two totally different perspectives.
Exactly.
Because sports is very much not evergreen. Like you have to, most of the time it's.
Yes. No, it's very much yes now, or you have to find something that's not. Well, we're going to get into some of this. So I'll stop before you.
That was a teaser.
Don't want to give it all away.
Okay, yeah. So we're going to talk about social media clips today. What does that look like? How does that start? And how does that even begin? And I really want to talk about it in this episode specifically because January 1st, y'all have seen my emails. You have seen my announcements. They have been going out for a couple months now. We are starting a new process where our podcast hosts, the people on our network, they know their show the best. Like they're the ones writing it. They're the ones taking notes. They're the ones that are passionate about it. So they know exactly what to clip. And this episode of RogueCast today will help you guys kind of be like, oh, pinpoint it. Yeah, that's going to be a good one. That's going to be perfect. So starting January 1st, we're relying and partnering with our podcast hosts, and they're going to be giving us timestamps, and we'll be cutting clips from that. And then they can be like, oh, add a clip of the ocean in this part. So we're going to be really collaborative on this front, and I think that'll really help our social media game.
I think so too.
Yes, because they know their show the best.
Exactly. And you bring up a great point, and I know you were nice enough to send me questions that before where we're going to get into, and that was like one of them. And that's the one that I'll just kind of go into it now if that's cool. Especially with like our comic book podcast. Like, yeah, there's a bunch of nerdy people out there who love comic books. But the person who knows our show the best is me, because I'm the one who I read the stuff, I put it together for Mike.
Right.
Like Mike reacts. And I know that usually from doing this so long, and I'm sure that, you guys will too, like once you get in the flow of like doing your show and getting a feel of like, oh, this is what we do. This is, you're able to kind of get like a second sense kind of almost in a way of like, oh yeah, this would work. This would work. And so I just want to, hammer home the point that Kendall made. And I completely agree. Nobody knows your show better than you do. Like if I ask, and I've done it before, of like, hey, can you mind just going through and like finding a clip from our show?
Right.
It's fine and it's good, but it's not like one of the ones I would have done. Not to say that, but it's just, I feel like I know it a little bit better.
Right, exactly. And this is not a knock on our clips team or anything. This is just like, hey, we can do it, and I can listen to your show and kind of know your show from that and be like, oh yeah, this would be a good clip based off my social media experience, marketing experience, like all of that. I can be like, oh yeah, this would be good. But y'all are the ones that are passionate about it, and you guys can design your show in a way where you're like, oh, we're clipping this. This would be good. So that's a little teaser, but that's officially starting January 1st. And then we'll still be collaborative, and you guys are like, I really have no idea what to clip. I think it's between 5 and 10 minutes, then I got you. That is 100% okay. And then ask all the questions you guys want about that process.
We're here to help.
Yeah, exactly. We're here. We're a team. So let's just get right into it.
Okay.
We'll start with the first question. What actually makes a good podcast clip for social media?
So
I feel like that's a broad question.
It is a very broad question. And I think that it's more than just one thing in a way.
Oh.
I think that there's a couple different things you can look for. I think it's emotional responses in a way. And I don't mean that just of like, oh, I got very angry. Like I think people like to think of like sometimes everybody can think of somebody, oh, like that clip's a little like clickbaity. I don't mean like that when I say, but
it's good too.
When you get that, it can be. No, it very much is. And we'll kind of talk about some of that when we get to sports too.
Yeah.
But I think it's the one that you can tell like there's emotional resonance in it of like, it's something you're talking about that you believe in. It's something that you're really passionate about, that you have strong emotions about. And that doesn't always mean something that you're just like, upset or sad, or like it can be happy and stuff too, or it can even be laughter. Like sometimes a lot of stuff I know with ours that I get into is I know that people more than anything love just genuine moments. Yeah. So when there's something that happens, it can be Mike mishearing me. It can be just the reaction to something we have. I mean, just genuine, the reaction to something we have where it's like we end up having a genuine like a lot of the shorts I make are us laughing by the end of them because it's a genuine emotional response like that.
Yeah, but it's entertaining. That's what people want to see.
No, for sure. You want. I think that people when they look, as just cliche as this might sound, they want to feel like they can connect.
Oh yeah.
To the person on the other side of the screen, and by just like being strong or like emotional about so many different things and just like putting yourself out there, that's one way that people connect. Now, like thought-provoking and controversial things work too. Of maybe you have like a differing opinion. Maybe you think
hot takes.
Exactly. Sometimes those work too because it's different than everybody else, and there's something like, huh. And they want to kind of sit there and then try to process and be like, well, why do they think that way? Or a lot of times, oh, well, they're wrong with thinking that way.
Yeah, and then they comment.
Exactly. But as sad as like any kind of comment is good comment. I can tell you how many like bad. It's true. I can tell you how many times like, oh, worst comic ever. And I'm like, yeah, but you took the time to sit there and reply and you watched it all. Exactly. So you can make things out of that. Also, if you have just like information in a way, if it's something you're talking about that's like high value information, just something that's very simple, just like a small little piece, just of like, hey, that's something then too, because people are always looking for help with things too. Yeah. Like there's so many different things you can listen through your show and just pinpoint of like, oh, we were really into this part of it, or oh, this is an opinion that I had, even if it is a popular opinion, just like, oh, I made some really good points. I think people will agree with that there. Or, oh, this is a really nice piece of information that I can sit there and package well and kind of put out there.
Yeah, and I feel like that would help even if it's not your target demographic. So if your podcast is towards women in their 40s, but this piece of information is universal, I think that will help reach different demographics.
Absolutely.
Which could be great.
Absolutely.
Okay, so let's say I have my podcast. I have this clip and this segment of like, let's say it's a fun fact, but it's really good. How do I know how long it should be? Like, where do I want to cut that?
So I have a opinion for me. I know that it doesn't work for everybody. I know that now in a lot of places you can go up to 3 minutes with shorts.
Yes, yeah.
And 3 minutes is a lot of time.
It's a long. The attention spans are not that long.
Exactly. I prefer so I can tell just speaking from experience, the clips that we've had for our show that are the most viral are usually in between the 30 and 59 second range.
100%.
Sometimes I know with things like TikTok, like that's the thing, different social media things are different too. TikToks tend to be a little bit shorter. Like I know that, so I tend to post, I'm in the process of constantly always trying to learn and always trying to figure out things. So for a long time, I would post the same clips on multiple platforms and you can kind of, garner things from that. TikTok likes usually a little bit shorter for some reason. Instagram and YouTube are usually about the same is what I've noticed. That it doesn't. They are. And so I've been able to slowly like creep into, I think the longest one I have right now is like a minute 20 range. Yeah. But for me, at least for me, and I think about like what we've done in the past, again, I've been so lucky enough, and I'm not saying this is brag, but I'm just saying this to where like we've had a couple different shorts of ours that we made like in the million plus.
It's
and
insane.
And those are always, they're very short. They're succinct. They tell the story. They tell the point. You're in. It has a nice hook to set up, and I think we'll get into for that. And a nice out, and it's just it gets to it, and it's short. Like that's the thing with these shorts and stuff like that. They're just that. So I think eventually, once you build up an audience, you can slowly start making them a little bit longer. But I try to, even still now with all the shorts I make, keep them 59 seconds or lower.
Right.
Yeah,
I 100% agree with that. I think for me, I cut some that are longer, but those are mostly faith-based shows.
Yes.
So yes, those points are longer, and I feel like people who are interested in that content will listen longer.
And there's, sorry.
No, I'm like, if that makes sense.
No,
but
that makes
other content. Yes, but faith-based ones.
Yes, no. Well, because also one of the things you don't want to do, and I'm going to get into, but I'm just like going off of what you've already set up, is you don't want to cut off a point before it's done then too.
Yes, because people are like, what the heck?
Exactly. So if you stick to that hard 59-second rule, but your point goes into the minute 20, you don't want to just do the whole, like have that whole succinct point. Because people also will not, they'll usually swipe if they come in and they're confused at the beginning and they don't know where you're going. Or at the end where it just ends abruptly and they're like, okay. And they just kind of,
Yeah. So, I feel like that first part of your clip is the most important.
Yes.
That is vital.
The hook, yes.
Like that's what's going to get people. And if it's confusing, if they don't understand it, you're going to lose them. And they're not going to be interested. They're not going to go find your podcast. They're not going to, they're just going to keep going.
And you can run into, I'm going to wait till we get to more questions.
Okay, yeah.
Because I know some of these are brought up there. So, no, you're good. But I have something else on that we'll get to here in a second.
Oh, I like that. Okay. So here is a good one. Are there any differences in how you cut clips for sports podcasts versus other types of shows? So like Bros.
Yes. So for me, I'll throw out one of the shows that we actually work on, which is a West Virginia sports show, Kuz's Corner. When I watch his show, because like I'll do the same for both. Is I'll try to listen, I'll try to watch and go through and script. And what I'm looking for as a sports fan is things that grab my attention. So this is more so when we talked about the different things you make clips up. This is more so the hot takes, the opinions, things like that are very much more important in sports than it would be when I'm trying to make like a Bros clip.
Right.
So not to say that I don't want some that are going to do that, but it's just sports are so much. There's a lot of sports content out there. So you need to make sure to grab somebody early. And the way to do that is by having just a great hook and then be a reason for them to stay. So it's usually like a hot button topic of like, oh, this is a big thing that's come out. Or what I like, and this goes back to the first one of emotional resonance, is I can't tell you how many times of the clips that I make that I usually go with the part where the host of the show is obviously believing what he's saying and he's
like adamant.
Yes, he's adamant. And you can tell that he has so much, as somebody who doesn't have the most faith, or not the most faith, but the most knowledge of like West Virginia as a whole, like he does. Right. I watch that clip and I'm like, he knows what he's talking about. I believe him. Like that's the clips you try, because if you're so like emotionally resonated with something like that, it bleeds through into the content. So for sports specifically, it does need a thing, like there's not as much evergreen stuff. It's more hot button issues or like topics that are in, going on right now. or just a rah-rah, like, I can't believe they did this. Or
right.
can you
the
know,
drama.
Exactly. It's that, but that usually is what works best sports-wise.
100%. That's a whole, and I feel like that passion that you're talking about, that's what all of these shows, like these hosts, should have. I think that passion, like if you don't love what you're doing, if you don't love what you're talking about, then you're not going to be able to clip it. You're not going to be able to sustain it, and you're going to get burnt out.
Yes.
Like that's a whole side note. But
no, absolutely though.
That's awesome. That's
for
awesome.
sure. Yeah, no, it's got to be something that you, and obviously the people, if you're doing the show, you have to have like a lot of love for it to start it to begin with.
Right.
It's just knowing that and like having that through everything, and then
it's
like
hard.
letting it is hard to stay up and on that level the whole time. Like there have been, we've been doing it 4 years. There have been weeks that I don't want to call it like, it's not phone-in episodes, but I'll get done and be like, we can do better. And and we do. So like it happens to everybody.
Oh yeah.
But if you're able to like stick with it and just keep that it's really big. Like just the passion you have yourself for what you're working on just bleeds through and shows to others for sure.
Yes. And that's the point I want to drive home. That's awesome. Okay, so you mentioned the hook, like the beginning of the clip. What am I looking for? If I don't know anything about it, what would I be like, oh, that would be a good hook? Like,
so
dumb it down for me.
Okay, there's 2 ways you can do this. One way, I see a lot of other successful people do this, and so I'm going to throw it out there just because I think it needs to be said. I don't do it as well, so that's why, but it works. And there's people who, if you have a point that you're going to make, but there's like one like 3-second hook that's like in that point that you're about to make that really drives it home, what they'll do is they'll play that at the beginning to get you hooked and then start like the conversation afterwards. And I've seen other people do it and it works. It works well. So that's why I'm going to add it.
Great example.
I'm very much a proponent of, I think with a typical Bros episode, what I'll do is after like put the little guy to bed at night or, I'm done for the day and I sit down, I will listen to our show a lot, like after it's done, and I can go back and I can find those moments of
do you like hearing the sound of your own voice?
No. And that's the thing too. I have worked, and I'm saying that, but I'm saying this also just to help everybody know this. I've been lucky enough, like I've worked here for a couple of years and I worked in radio for 10 plus years before that.
I did not know that.
I did. Nobody loves the sound of their own voice. Well, I take that back. Narcissists do, but then nobody else loves the sound of their own voice. No, I know. But I say that more as I know we love to get in our heads of like, oh, I hate the way I sound. Oh, I've done this forever and I still hate listening to the way I sound. But again, nobody knows what I'm looking for more than me. So then when I hear a point, I'm like, oh, that's going to make a good one. Okay. Now, what I like to try to do, like hook wise, is find a way to where I love just straight through stories. Yes. So it's like start, end. I don't have to like cut too much. Yeah. I don't have to cut too much. Sometimes I do in sports stuff, and I think we have a question about that we'll get to later. But I like it to be one just like cohesive kind of story. Now I'll go through and maybe take out some ums or some pauses and stuff like that, but I like it to tell. And what I like to make sure is I have a nice quick start so people know where we're going, and then I close it off at the end. So for a Bros one, it's more of like I try to get them with the concept. Or like it'll be something, I'm just going to pick around, and Mike just goes, wait, why is Batman wearing a multicolored suit? I'll start with the question like that, and then I'll go into the rest of it. Or, you just find a way to open it. Of like, I do a lot of, so here's how we are. And I'm telling a story as it is, and it starts spinning. There's so many different ways you can start it. But you're trying to find the start of that story that's going to hook people in. One thing you need to make sure you do, though, that I had to learn to do as well, and it comes back also from something I learned in radio of where I loved when I would ask questions of people, I would ask long-winded questions. And I was told once, let them answer the question. Right. It's the same thing in the shorts here of where I have my lead in to it too. I just need to make sure that it's concise enough. Like I don't need to give them the whole full lead in up there. If I can start like 10 seconds later and still be able to have the same point, that's what I need to do. Yes. The most you can squeeze in that short time, the better. And you don't want to kill, like, if you can't get somebody in that first 5 seconds, a lot of time, you've lost them. So, sure, telling like that 15, it sets up the short a little bit better. Yeah. But also, if I just trim it down to like 3 seconds and it does the same thing, that's the way to go.
I love that you brought that up, and that is such a huge thing because I feel like a lot of the kind of lifestyle podcasts that we have here, when I cut those, I'll start with the question, like a short, and try and like condense the question. If that's why you guys think your questions are cut off, just to get the short main point of the question and then the answer. And that sets it up. And then that way the people are scrolling. They're like, oh, question. Oh, okay. What's the answer to that? I think that's probably the most practical way to do it. And then yes, we can absolutely do the like hook kind of thing and then put in the beginning, and that is awesome.
Some people, again, that's why I say like some people do it and it works. But I like the way that Kendall and I both have like a shared mind on stuff. And so I like, because if you do it with that question, then somebody just scrolling, and like a lot of times I know when I do, I'll let it play for a couple seconds. Right. And then if not, but if I'm watching, I hear like, hey, so how do I fit? Oh, I am curious about that. Like you've already got that. And I'll at least let it keep going to listen to what the answer is.
Right. So, and even if you don't like the answer, you'll let it play the longer
you'll let
than
it play
you would
through,
have.
and you're like, oh, okay. But you got them on that hook.
Yes. So. Yeah. No, I love that. And I think that's the easiest way to do it. So when y'all are looking at timestamps, looking at your clips, look for the questions. If you have a guest on your podcast, where do you ask that question and where's their answer? And if it's a good answer, like that's perfect. That's the perfect clip. And that kind of goes into,
Oh, well, no, I was just to add to that. We don't do a lot of guests on our show, but we actually had one recently. We were able to interview an independent comic creator. And that's exactly the same thing I did, is I found like his answer to a question was just really good. And like Mike gave a lot of setup up to it. And like the setup was important to how he got there. But what I needed was that last 3 seconds of, so XYZ. And then he goes right into it and it works out.
Yeah. Cut out Mike. We don't need Mike.
Yeah. Hey, Mike, if you're editing this, Kendall said that, not me. No, I'm kidding.
So that kind of goes into the next question we had on the list, which was the content of the clip. And I think you kind of touched on all of it. Was there anything else you wanted to add? But I feel like we got
a lot of it. I'm trying to like that's the thing is too is once you do these shorts and you do more of them, you'll start to find this style of clip tends to work. This style of clip tends to not to. Exactly. I know that there's certain characters or there's certain types of stories that if I can focus on this point, we'll for sure get at least a couple thousand. Like you're going to be able to find. Like, and so you'll know the more you do this, the more you'll know your audience. Not to say there won't be times that you're kind of confused by but some of that's just YouTube. And the other like social media platforms. But for the most part, once you get to know them and you realize like, okay, this short does this, like they like this. Oh, they like, you'll be able to develop and kind of find your own lane more in a sense.
Yeah. I feel like sometimes people take social media so seriously and they're like, it has to be perfect. It has to be perfect. It has to be perfect. But sometimes the reels that I have taken the least amount of time on do the best. And you just kind of, it's like throwing things at the wall and seeing what sticks.
I can tell you one right now that I did. I made a Supergirl short this week and the part that I cut off at the end of it, the way I had to cut to end the point before it got into Mike's next one that is completely different from the short, I cut off the word orb a little bit too much. And it sounds weird. And it just drove me crazy. And I uploaded it. And it was just like sitting there at like 30-something views. And I was like, see, I was right. Like, nobody knows. And then I woke up this morning and it has a couple thousand. And it's just like, I will obsess over things. And then I see that and I'm like, oh, I didn't need to really worry that much.
Yes, like, well, and you can't take it seriously either if it does stay at 30 views.
That's true too. Like, I have plenty of them that are like that.
It's like lesson learned. Okay, that one didn't do quite as well. Let's see what we can learn from it. Let's move on. I feel like that's so much of social media marketing of just like, we're going to see what it is. And there's strategies, there's tactics you can use.
Well, that's the beauty of it is like, everybody can also claim to tell you what the YouTube algorithm likes and what it's going to do. Like, oh, you got to do this. And some of those points can be right, but it's ever changing and not everybody's always privy to that. So I can tell you one of the short we got 3+ million on, I had no clue what to do, SEO or anything else. It was me finding the best clip and like making, like, I'm serious.
No, I believe it.
So you can make you can overcomplicate everything. But at its core, it should just be, you find the part of the podcast that you feel like is the best part of that podcast to make a short out of, and nobody knows it better than you. And your fans are going to realize that same thing too. And if they listen to the show because of you, they're going to watch the shorts and stuff because of that too. So like you'll be able to grow, learn, and be like, okay, I'm going to do shorts like this. Oh, now I'm going to try to add in more content like this because it works well. And you'll be able to see that grow from there on.
Yeah, that's awesome. And it's just so much of just don't take it too seriously. That's my thing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. As a guy who relies way too much on that stuff, don't do that.
And analytics are good. And that's the thing where you can, a month in, you can look at your clips and be like, okay, these ones haven't been doing so good. What can we do to try and fix that? What can we attempt? So that kind of goes into the next part. So we're making the clip. We have it. We have the content picked out. It's got the context. It's got everything in it. Do we add captions?
I'm glad you brought this up because this is something that I have come around to very lately on.
Okay.
So I used to be Ours shorts for a lot of time. It's us talking, and I'll have like the comic panel we're talking about kind of thing. So it's an audio or a picture of that. I thought that the captions would kind of get in the way of that, and so I never did.
But then,
but I think that was just me and there was nothing that told me that. It was just me. And then I would see captions on a lot of other stuff. And then it finally hit me within the past couple months. I think I referenced earlier, I have a son that's just over a year old.
Yeah.
I watched my wife feeding him one day, and she was watching, while he was asleep, and she was watching her phone on YouTube Shorts, but she had it muted, and she could read the shorts with the captions. And that's when I had an aha moment of there are a lot of people who will watch stuff where they can't have the sound up.
Yeah.
So why not have captions? Because even all it does is just add to it. Yep. I don't think there's anything it takes away from it. I think it adds to if you're somebody like me who mumbles sometimes, it helps people realize, oh, that's what he said. And then also because it's not just that situation, but that situation was my aha moment. But there's people a lot of times, maybe they're eating lunch somewhere or just out and they're just scrolling through their phone. Well, they can actually watch and follow along and read the short you have there. I think that there's nothing bad that comes from captions.
We love captions, and we can do that all for y'all. We've got all the systems, processes, everything to add captions. So
I'm very pro captions.
Yes, and most of Rogue's clips will have captions unless you guys are no captions. Yeah. Okay, so we've got that figured out. I have an episode 45 minutes long. How many clips should I pull from that?
So, I think. There's a couple things that you need to determine. It's one, you figure out how many clips you want to post during a week. And that's a schedule that you'll obviously figure out yourself of what, and it's one, it can be one to start and then you do, and it'll grow. And again, it's one of those things you figure out too.
Exactly.
But I think that you can almost have, as long as it's not repetitive in a sense of the clips, I think you can make, 4, 5, 6, almost as many clips as you want to from it.
Yeah.
I can say that there have been some of our shows where we'll cover multiple issues in one show. I easily have gotten 5, 6, a week's worth of clips out of one show before. It is doable, especially if it's 45 minutes. And the thing is, you're going to talk about different things in that 45 minutes. So, I don't know. We talked about some of the faith-based shows earlier. Yes. Maybe it's you have one oh, hey, we had a really great point about prayer earlier on. All right, that's different than we talked about, oh, how do you deal with this in life? And then we talked about, when do you find time to yourself? There's things in different aspects of that full show that you can make into shorts with it only being 59 seconds usually at the moment. If it goes over, it goes over.
Little teasers.
It's little. You can just chunk up the whole and make bite-sized portions of that episode. And the only again, I don't think you need to then have multiple clips about the same topic.
Right.
Maybe one on that topic, one on that topic, one on that topic. But easily having, again, 4, 5, 6 from 145 minutes. It's easy. Yeah. How I say easy. The first time you do this, you're going to be I don't know. I don't know if that works or not. And you might only find one that you're I'm really sold on this. But I think once you start doing it more and you start finding those clips, then I will listen through. Yeah. Sometimes I will just to kind of split it up a little bit. Is I will just pull one from one show, one from another. We have a lot of old shows too before we started doing video that we haven't done. So I go and I listen to old shows and find stuff. So
repurposing content.
Exactly. But what I will also do is even though a show is a year old, a lot of our content, and I know a lot of y'all's content out there too, is evergreen. So even though I've made a short from that show a year ago, if something comes up, I did it this week and I kind of told you about it. It's a bunch of Supergirl talk. The Supergirl movie trailer came out this week. So I knew though, we did that episode a year ago, but it makes sense to make shorts about it because people will be searching for it now. And you can go back and you can repurpose old content like that. And it's a show that I've already pulled 4 or 5 shorts from when we did it a year ago.
You can almost repost those too.
Exactly. Or just find move a bit, find another little clip and I'll make another little short out there. So yeah.
That is such a good point. I'm so glad you brought that up because depending on what's going on in the world, the news, the context, everything, that's what's going to hit in your show. That's what the clips are going to be. So if you have something that's vital to now, and that's kind of the evergreen versus posting now, all of it, and anything is going to work.
I will add to that, just because I've been the victim of this too. Yeah. Also, don't go out of your way to feel like you need to capitalize on what's going on.
True. That's true.
If it makes sense, like it made sense for me this week. I needed shorts.
Yes.
And so it made sense. But don't be like, oh, this is really big. Okay, I'm going to go find that point that I made about this. If it's not the point that you feel is the best point of the show, don't try to force it in there.
Yes.
There have been a lot of times in the past where I've tried to force us to do shows because things that were coming out that were hot in, like, you know, people talking about in that world. And we've got some of the lowest views we've ever gotten. If you force it, people might know that too. The most important thing is to make sure that it's the clip that you're happy with and you feel like best suits your show. Not just because, oh, hey, everybody's talking about this new cup. I talked about it for a little bit. I'll make a short because everybody else is. You don't necessarily need to do that.
Right. Yeah. Even if your show's not even about that or something. Exactly. You're like, I'm going to switch gears.
I'm going to just try to, pull in guests from a lot of people know. And they're like, I haven't seen this before. And so you don't, then your audience from experience. Your audience knows. That's the thing. They fall in love with you and they know.
They're going to be like, what the heck? I love that. But no, that's a great point. So let's pretend I'm brand new to podcasting, brand new to content creation. Where would I start? Do you have advice? Like what am I looking for? And this is kind of like the last question, sum it all up, overarching kind of theme.
I think I like to put myself, and I've talked about it all through this, but I like to put myself in, it sounds weird, but in like the mind space of like one of our listeners when I listen. Like I know and you know what your show is. And so you can kind of tell when you have those moments of where like, oh, that is what this is why I did this show for moments like this. This is what you want to look for at first is if you record the whole show and you're sitting there and you're done, think to yourself, what was the best part of the show? What did I have the most fun with? Like what was the most like, oh, I laughed really, like that was a genuine laugh I had there. Like think of things like that or like, oh, I remember what my co-host said about this. Like whatever sticks with you, that's a good place to start. Because if it stuck with you, it'll probably stick with other people too, or it'll also be worthwhile to people. Like I think a lot of times, I'm going to get on a soapbox real quick. I think a lot of times like we as people just we minimize our own thoughts on our work, but nobody knows it better than you do. You're going to, I doubt myself all the time and you're going to too when you go and you're like, is this going to be a good, good content? Is this going to like be the short that I want it? That's why I say if there's moments when you get done and you're like, oh, that was really good. Like those are the ones to go back and listen and hunt down and be able, who cares if it was 20 seconds? Again, as long as it's not, exactly. Yeah. And if it was a little bit over and it's your first short and you're like, it's a minute 10, do the minute 10 for the first short. Like the thing right now, more than anything, is just to build confidence and feel like to get the feel for your show of like what you do. There will be some shows where you listen to the whole thing and you're like, I don't know what I'm going to pull out of that. But if you sit there and you think for yourself, but you think about it a bit, you will be able to find like, oh, okay. Or there's shows, like I said, that we don't do. Maybe that's when you're like, well, I had 2 really good bits on the last one and you go pull from the other one. There's just, it's to me the biggest moment that I would tell you, like Kendall, you're starting I know you know how to do clips, but you're making RogueCast.
I don't. Yeah.
Okay. No. Find the moments that you remember the most when you're done. Like those.
The highlights kind of.
The highlights in your head. Like you don't have to go through and if you want to go back and listen to the whole thing afterwards, that's cool. Great. But I would say like when you're done recording, usually like, that was funny. Oh, that was good.
Yeah. Should I take notes? Like, can I take notes while I'm recording?
Can if you want. You can if you want to. Especially on, I would say, video. Maybe like be a little more discreet about it. If people are watching you, they're gonna be like, what are they writing down the whole time?
Hold on, guys, don't look.
But it's not gonna be anything that deters too much. But audio for sure. Like a lot of times, I've done plenty of times of when we recorded. I'll just write like a phrase, and I'll be like this, and then I'll go back and just find where it was because I just. I can't believe we talked about, we had a debate about cereal being soup. Like, something like, so I'll just write cereal soup.
Wait, what was the answer to that debate?
Mike and I disagree. Mike thinks it's soup.
Mike!
But, so I'm just saying, but like, it's random. Like that's it. And it has nothing to do with what we covered on the show. And that'll be sometimes. It is just.
Still be a good clip though.
Exactly.
That's entertaining.
Exactly. The shorts that I feel, what I view shorts as is it leads people to your long form content.
Yes.
So if you can do enough to just gain their interest there and they like your short, there's a good chance they'll at least give the long form content a try. Like there's click through, like that's what you're looking for. Yes. So click through rates to that. So they're going to be able to tell, like, if you just threw something together, the best bet for me is to do something that just stuck with you.
Stuck with you, right? Yeah, something you're passionate about. And that goes back to everything we've been talking about. Like, you have to be passionate about it. You have to like it. And then throw it out there. Don't take it too seriously.
Yes.
It'll be fun, guys. It is it's a learning process and it's a learning curve, but our hosts know the show's the best, and they know exactly what's going to be important, what's going to be vital to that time. And they're going to be able to clip it the best. So hopefully this helped. This was kind of a large overarching view of the clips process. Zach, thank you so much for being on. Yes, no, it was nice to have a different perspective of someone who does the same thing, but in a different world.
Yeah. So. Well, hopefully I think we gave some good tidbits, and hopefully it helps people out some. Yeah, I think so. But yeah, just like Kendall said, I just want to pose, like, it seems just like, oh, be cool, be free, but don't take it that serious, because it is so easy to just to not see the forest for the trees because you're like so close to it. So, like, just remember that there are going to be some learning curves, and I still have shorts that haven't gotten over 20 views.
Oh, yeah.
So, for everyone, there is, like, you're going to have those still now. So, don't take it too serious. Have fun doing it. I have fun making shorts. It's possible. Because you're like, oh, we did. Like, you get excited for your show.
Yes, yeah.
So, yes, have fun.
The passion. I love it. That's awesome. So, anyway, with that, y'all, I hope you guys have a great Christmas, and we will see you in 2026.
Ooh, Merry Christmas, everyone.
See ya.